does a digital future look like? What are the skills needed? How do governments need to transform? What will ensure businesses succeed? How do we develop a robust and resilient infrastructure? Visionaries, innovators, leaders and thinkers from around the world shape the future of digitalization today. Immerse yourself in transformative discussions, engage in interactive workshops, forge powerful connections, witness transformative ideas in action, discover innovation, connect and evolve, drive change. Welcome to Moldova Digital Summit, where innovation meets opportunity. Let's power a 100% digital tomorrow.
Well, just as you know, we have another day full of keynotes and panels and startup pitches. But I want to announce that yesterday we had 1,347 tickets scanned, so quite a lot of people visited us. Today we're expecting just the same amount of people, and don't forget to visit the Expo Zone when you want to walk around. And for opening remarks today, we have State Secretary Michelle Iliev. She's responsible for digitalization and innovation at the Ministry of Economic Development and Digitalization of Moldova.
Good morning, everyone. And those that are in the Expo Zone, I know that they are hearing us. And welcome to day 2. I hope you still have enough energy to be with us today and tomorrow. Well, if the day 1 was about strategic partnerships and vision, day 2 is about infrastructure turning into impact. It's about action, about translating buzzwords like AI into tools that actually work for startups, for government, and for people, of course. Today is about trust, about technologies you can explain, about election you can secure, and connectivity you can count on. So I will be very brief because after me we have a special guest, a friend from Poland, Rafał Rosinski, the Understate Secretary from the Ministry of Digitalization from Poland, and I will kindly invite him with the keynote speech for this day. So please welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear Michelle. It's a true honor for me to be here with you today in Chisinau. Let me start by expressing my sincere thanks for the kind invitation to join this year's Moldovan Digital Summit, a summit that has become a strong voice in the region's digital transformation. This event sends a clear message. Moldova is not only catching up, it is moving forward with purpose and confidence. It's not just talking about change, it's making it happen. From building digital public services to fostering innovation and connectivity, Moldova is showing bold ambition backed by action. As Poland Deputy Minister of Digital Affairs, I want to say clearly, we see it, we admire it, and we want to work together. Poland, like Moldova, has gone through its own digital journey and will still moving forward. In recent years, we introduced solutions that have transformed the relationship between together. And speaking of the future, in just a few weeks, Poland will conclude its EU Council presidency with the Digital Summit in Gdańsk. A key event bringing together digital leaders from across Europe, and we are especially proud that your Prime Minister will be among our honored guests. We look forward to welcoming you in Gdańsk and continuing our dialogue on building a digital Europe that is inclusive and secure. Poland stands ready to work hand in hand with Moldova for a smarter, safer, more connected future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Undersecretary. And for the first keynote of the day, the subject is digital infrastructure, the foundational bet in the age of AI. The speaker is Victor Sagaidac, Chief Information and Data Officer at Orange Moldova, who has extensive experience in information technology, data management, and digital transformation. He coordinates the strategic digitalization directions at Orange Moldova, contributing to the company's transition towards an innovation-driven operational model. Please welcome on stage Victor Sagaidac.
Good morning, delighted audience. I'm honored to be on this stage. And today I would like to address a topic which is often forgotten when talking about digital, which is infrastructure. From my professional standpoint, it seems like we are standing at a true inflection point in the history of technology. And that's not because a new technology is released or announced, but it's because the adoption of several technologies is taking the pace. So on one hand, we have well-known technologies which were there for some time. This is software as a service, this is cloud computing, and the latest releases in AI. Yeah, I would call the post-hype AI. On the other hand, the compound effect which all three technologies have when being used together, it's not only disrupting our industries, but it's redefining the competitiveness, and it's redefining the way we innovate, and sometimes even the way how we survive or how the companies survive in the modern economy. So let me start with the first hard question. What is your competitive advantage? What is your business competitive advantage in the age of AI, cloud, and SaaS? Its competitive advantage is a very nice term used by finance world, by Warren Buffett. So it really gives a specific sense. A fact is that nowadays technology is not anymore competitive advantage because technology cannot guarantee the edge. Any company in the world, basically, regardless the geography, with very few asterisks on the geographies, can have access to the same worst case scenario, if not the same, but very similar cloud resources, cloud infrastructures, same software, thanks to software as a service model, same LLMs, large language models, and more recently to the same agents. In this case, what differentiates one business from another? It's basically what we build on top of these technologies and the experience we offer to our customer. In the digital economy, customer experience is everything. Yeah? But customer experience cannot live in isolation. Customer experience happens when there is intersection between three key pillars. First one would be the app, what user sees and what user interacts with. The second one would be the user journey. This is the how fast, how personalized, how intuitive is the experience feels. Yeah? And the third one is the infrastructure, which brings the two above, the app and the journey to the life, which makes it work, or in some, very often makes it not work. So that's why, to a certain extent, application sometimes is limited by how much infrastructure allows application to perform. And for some time, infrastructure until some time ago, infrastructure was treated for me more or less like plumbing in the house, let's say. It's located somewhere in the back room. It is managed by weird guys, and it's critical only when it fails. Now, I hope that these times are over. At least in Orange, the guys are not weird anymore, and we've been given offices with access, with large windows to the street. But jokes apart, the infrastructure is a strategic enabler today because it allows faster time to market, it allows innovation at scale, it allows real-time insights and automation, and in the end, it allows cost efficiency and compliance. So today, I don't think that any other C-level member or board member struggles to understand the impact of digital infrastructure or infrastructure at all on the business models. Regardless if it's telecom, it's banking, healthcare, retail, all the way to the government, the impact of infrastructure is critical. So digital resilience, let's say, it's ensured by your infrastructure readiness and infrastructure agility. Agility today is not anymore a nice-to-have approach, is not anymore a buzz, not anymore a label. It's the, I would say, it's the survival skill for an organization in the modern economy. So we've all seen markets being disrupted overnight. The pandemics, the war, and other crises happening over the night have demonstrated that business need to quickly be able to pivot to pivot their business models. And infrastructure is the element which can accelerate this pivot or can harden it. And that's why digital infrastructure is the foundation, and if built properly, it can enable three things. It can enable your competitiveness through innovation at speed. It can enable your resilience through continuity in all time. And it can ensure your digital sovereignty, allowing you to know where your data flows, where your computing, who controls your computing power, and so on. So these are not tech concerns. These are board level decisions and sometimes even national priorities. So let's now go to the second defining question. What is your infrastructure? In the age of AI, infrastructure is not anymore static. It's pretty difficult to define it. Maybe some asset inventory can define it, but difficult to take it out of the technology. Infrastructure is basically a flywheel, a dynamic loop where cloud computing allows you elastic scalability of the computing power and the resources. Connectivity allows you data transfer between these environments and across geographies. And not the last, but data feeds your AI models, which in turn defines your business decisions. So this infrastructure, data, and AI flywheel is basically what is defining the modern organization and is the foundation of modern organizations, how these are built. Therefore, if you miss to focus on one specific component, the entire wheel is broken. Of course, this doesn't come without challenges, and each stack has its own challenges. The challenges with the cloud are the integration ecosystem. Integrations are difficult because we still, every company, still have to manage two different environments, the legacy one, the modern one. The integration is being complicated by the fact that we would like to have cross-sector integrations to us in specific domains all the way to the government platforms integration. The second challenge is the sovereignty. Yeah, because you need to know and you need to control who is your infrastructure provider. You need to make sure that you are not getting into a lock with a single hyperscaler provider. And you need to know, again, who is controlling your data, who has access to the data. For me, in the AI and the cloud world, security is not anymore about malware or ransomware. I am ranking all the risks related to intellectual property and business information risks much higher than those related to security, traditional security threats. So you cannot scale without confidentiality, and without confidentiality that your infrastructure is addressing these challenges from day one. On computing and connectivity, it comes with its own hurdles, not less important. So first of all, you need technology versatility. There are no miracles and there are no overnight migrations. So vast majority of the companies, they need to be able to maintain a hybrid cloud infrastructure. To a specific extent, you might need a private cloud infrastructure. In given architectures, there is edge computing, which might be used for better performance and to optimize your infrastructure. And not to forget the specific AI-related workloads which are required for your business. In terms of connectivity, you are very much reliant and you need quality of service of your connectivity. You need low latency, low disruption, and basically, let's say, no disruption architectures to be in place by your technology and connectivity provider. And of course, end-to-end security from the device to the data center or to the edge computing, all the way up to the cloud, you need to ensure the security of your data flows. So these are conditions for the trust, and as we know, without trust, transformation and digital fails. So let's talk about decisions. Yeah? The choice of infrastructure architecture and in our specific context, the choice of your infrastructure partner might be one of the most important and strategic bets you need to make these days. Because not every business needs the same cloud instance. Not any AI workload can run on public cloud. And not every region allows data to flow freely as we need. So therefore, the scalability, the customization capability, the control are the key elements which need to be considered when you are defining your infrastructure. So it's not operational. It is one of the components of your competitive advantage in the digital world. So to summarize, in the age of AI, SaaS, and cloud, infrastructure is not anymore invisible. Infrastructure is the foundation of your customer experience, innovation, and transformation. Infrastructure needs to be secure, agile, and aligned with your business goals and business objectives. And the decisions you made today will definitely influence your company standpoint in the future digital economy. And let me leave you with this. In the age when AI and automation will level, let's say, will level many play fields. I mean, destroying all the barriers for different competitors to enter. So play fields being flat, the infrastructure will be one of the few differentiators which a company can bring to the final product and to the final experience. The infrastructure will basically become the decisive point if you lead, if you follow, or if you lose in this battle. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This event is organized under the patronage of the Prime Minister Dorin Recean. The governmental partner is, as you guessed, the government of Moldova and the Ministry of Economic Development and Digitalization. The organizers are ATIC, Moldova Innovation Technology Park, e-Governance Agency, and TechWell. The co-organizers are Invest Moldova, Startup Moldova, Business Voice. Strategic partners are the EU delegation, German Cooperation GIZ, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, World Bank, UMIF, Swiss Cooperation Office in Moldova, UNFPA, UNDP, Innovate Moldova Program, e-Governance Academy, UNICEF, and Soros Moldova Foundation. And the sponsors are Platinum, MasterCard, and Molding Bank, or as my phone calls it, MICB. Gold, Orange Moldova International Media Support. Silver are RSD, IBM, AWS, and Dorna. Next, we will have a panel that will be moderated by Ana Chirița, Strategic Projects Director at Moldovan Association of ICT Companies, and the topic of the panel is Moldova's AI Playground, Innovation, Skills, and Ecosystem Building. For those of you who still don't know Ana, let me tell you real quick something about her. She holds a degree in information technology and business administration, and over the years have managed multi-million-dollar projects mobilizing key stakeholders to deliver impact across the sector. Among the flagship initiatives under her leadership are TechWell, Moldova's ICT Excellence Center, TechWell in Every School, a nationwide digital education program reaching over 100,000 students, and EU for Moldova Startup City Cahul, advancing digital and entrepreneurial ecosystems in southern Moldova.
Hello.
Please welcome on stage, she's already sitting, Ana Chirița.
Yes, I'm already sitting, Alex. Thanks. Just to complete Alex on some of the things that are happening today at the Moldova Digital Summit, I was wondering how many of you have been here yesterday? So a few. If you visited the expo area behind this screen, please be aware that there is also one piece of a small expo area which shows a bit of digital art in the right side when you exit from this room. I really encourage you to look at that because it's done by local artists and actually transforming paintings into some sort of digital stuff, which is among the future things that need to happen. And now, since we go to our panel discussions, I think there have been many topics covered yesterday, and there are many more that are going to be covered today and tomorrow. Almost every speech had something regarding AI. Therefore, our next panel is actually Moldova's AI Playground, Innovation Skills, and Ecosystem Building. Now I'd like to invite my panelists on stage. Artem Kociu, Head of Prime Minister's Delivery Unit. Viorel Bostan, Rector of the Technical University of Moldova. Nicoleta Moldova, Director of e-Governance Agency. Marina Bzovei, Administrator of the Moldova Innovation Technology Park. Alexandru Guzun, Director for PwC and also President of AMCHA Moldova. Vitale Tataru, founder of AC Tech. Unfortunately, we're going to miss Iulian Popescu as he had some issues with the family, but we have Andreea Bulisaki, Tech Executive and Ecosystem Strategies Founder, Stratified Advisory. We have as you see, we have a very balanced panel in terms of gender for the first time, I think. It's usually either more women or more men on stage, and this time we really managed to make it as a balanced approach. And of course, when we start with AI, and when we start with strategies, let's go from a top-down approach a bit. And the first question goes to Artem. Here would be more, how can Moldova leverage AI to reduce bureaucracy and improve citizen experience overall? And what is the strategy of the government of Moldova to embrace AI, except the AI digital AI literacy program that has been announced yesterday as a priority? So how do you see Moldova's AI potential in terms of government?
Well, basically speaking, there is a very interesting phenomenon that comes from Alice of Wonderland that is called Red Queen effect. That you have to run as fast as possible just to stay at the same place. And yet, it's not a very negative thing to do. If we are speaking about reduction of bureaucracy, it's the governmental approach towards to do in a more pragmatic way do the application of AI models. For example, connecting the agentic AI to existing APIs in order to reduce. I can give you the example. So basically right now there is a huge endeavor with the EU accession, meaning harmonization of the local Moldovan legislation with the EU standards. And the AI can assist in analysis, yet the final decision stays to the lawyers. And basically that would be able, with the help of AI, lawyers can reduce dramatically time of reading, dramatically time of modifying the current legislation, and basically reducing the burden of non-qualified operations within it. So, and this is just a part that we are right now experimenting, and we're having some of the progresses related to this. And we also acknowledge that we require a very robust infrastructure, because basically Moldova is the biggest, government is the biggest owner of the deep web, let's say. Everything that is like a lot of data that is hidden beyond the password and login. And we have a pretty robust infrastructure, meaning M-Connect, and we are right now having, including within the partners from Qatar that were signing yesterday memorandum, we are investing in the infrastructure for us to be ready to consume those data sets and to train the necessary models. So at the moment, I would resume my, answer to the fact that we should analyze, and we are analyzing right now the processes, and we are reducing bottlenecks that require less of a qualified work, less of a burden for people to do more pragmatic things.
Thank you, Artem. And since I see Nicoleta willing to respond, she's going to be my next one. Actually, I'm going to go to Nicoleta. Moldova has recently advanced many digital public services. How ready is our public administration to embrace AI and to integrate it into service delivery? That's one. And what is the government strategy on upskilling public servants on using AI?
Okay, so hi everyone. Strategy. What Artem just said. In terms of strategy, I think it's imperative for us to not just start talking, as we discussed a while back at the AI conference, not just talking, but to start doing, and to start doing actively in a cohesive manner with the private sector, with the academia, especially with the academia, because this is where the young minds and where the perceptions are formed and where innovation happens. In terms of a strategy, we need to invest in research and development and innovation, and again, cross-cutting across business, government, and academia. There's no way we can do it by ourselves. If we think that, we are kidding ourselves, and we need to be totally aware of that. So it's exciting that we're making big steps. It's exciting that we are ready to invest in infrastructure. We're ready to actually build POCs and models and talk about, okay, what are the applications? What are the initial applications that we, and when I say application, I'm not talking about apps. I'm talking about use cases, right? What are the use cases that we can apply this to that would be beneficial and that would drive the most value to us, right? How can we harness the data? Because we have troves of data. The National Bureau of Statistics has, each individual agency that is connected through M-Connect has, and then when you pair that data together, you can do predictable models, and you can actually predict things way before they happen, or you can start doing the coveted data-driven decision making. Now, on another side, and when we talk about integrating this into into solutions. So my personal dream and the mission that we should do and have at the e-governance agency and at the state level is, as I said yesterday, if up until this point we as the e-governance agency had the mission of bringing innovation into the government, right now our mission needs to be of giving simple, easy-to-use solutions to citizens, because the innovation is there. We have the transfer, we have the infrastructure, we need to equip every agency to build and develop based on that, build more partnerships, and we need to define a new type of service delivery model for citizens, and a model where we deliver services and information proactively. It's not a model where you need to go in and tap a button for something to happen. I want to get information way before, and not just information, I want to get actionable steps. I want to get it, hey, that time of the year comes up when you need to pay your taxes, or pay your taxes, like do some marketing about it on a state level, pay your taxes now and get 20% off for next year or something. So, and all of this is achievable. These are proactive events. These are, and this is the level of super apps and super interactions that we need to get to.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. When we talk about service delivery, definitely we need the skill set and the necessary people to be able to adapt to the new realities. So my next question goes to Mr. Bostan. Rector Bostan, how prepared are our universities to supply the AI workforce that Moldova will probably need in the next 5, 10, or maybe even more, or even less years? We don't know how it's going to go.
Good morning. Clearly, in these days when AI technology is developing super fast, it's quite difficult to keep the pace. But now, I think we are quite prepared, and already there are some interventions. Actually, for the last 15 years, we already have courses related to AI technology and AI algorithms in our curriculum. And if those courses, let's say 10 years ago, were poor theoretical, now clearly it shows us today that the direction was correct. 5 years ago, for example, at the updating of our previous curriculum, we decided to increase the number of credits allocated for fundamental sciences like discrete part, graph theory, or probabilistic and statistical methods, because we were saying then that these kind of credits are or knowledge courses are very important in the age of future AI. And right now we are finalizing the new curriculum for the next 5 years, and the number of courses related to AI technology, machine learning increased. Moreover, we also introduced, starting this year, a master degree program in generative AI. So that will be a first step for us, a solely dedicated to AI, a master degree course. Now, clearly also that besides having the content developed, it's important to ensure also the necessary infrastructure, because as we engineers like to joke, you cannot learn how to ride a bicycle from a textbook. You need a bicycle. Therefore, we are very grateful to the government that provided us necessary financing. And in the framework of a World Bank project, a credit contracted by the government, and we received 5.5 million euros for procurements, and 800,000 euros will go to a new high-performance computing cluster that is right now being created at our university. It will be launched in August. It is a very ambitious project. Almost all the equipment is already in place, and as I said, we will launch it at the end of August. It will be, I think, the most powerful computing cluster in the research and university system. We are talking about more than 400 computing cores, and with a CPU of, as far as I remember, 500 teraflops. And also we'll have 8 GPUs. from NVIDIA with 768 teraflops computing power. But actually, the topology was designed in order to satisfy all the needs in the upcoming AI developments. And one of the main applications that cluster was intended, besides, of course, computer simulations, bioinformatics, will be AI and machine learning algorithms. And also, clearly, we will be open to collaborate with all the industry, all the companies who want to test different applications in the AI field. Now, another intervention will be, and it is a big question not only for us, but for all universities, how do we change the learning process and evaluation process in the AI era? Because on one hand, the students are using AI for good purposes, of course. We are getting the answers to all of their homeworks, questions, and it is of big help. For example, you didn't understand a specific topic concept, you can ask always ChatGPT or whatever AI application, but also that is being used to, to cut a shorter path in the evaluation process, in other words, for cheating or plagiarizing, and that is a big issue for universities as well. We started already discussion in our university what we shall do. Clearly, we have to change, on one hand, the way how we deliver the necessary material in the age of AI, and not just based on oral presentations or PowerPoint presentations or providing them with necessary textbooks. On the other hand, we have to change how we evaluate students. And that is a separate, probably, discussion. And tomorrow at another panel, I will talk about what are the implications of AI on the learning process. Otherwise, also, what we need to do is to invest in people, to have better and better professors and teaching staff that will be prepared to deliver all the necessary knowledge and technology related to AI.
Great answer. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause. Let's move next to a bit of a more international perspective. And this question goes to Andrea. When we talk about ecosystems in general, what are the ecosystem elements that are needed for any country to become a serious AI playground?
Thank you very much for this question. I think, as in putting it in the context of ecosystem, I want to kind of stress the fact that an AI ecosystem or building an AI ecosystem is not a technology play, but it's a system challenge that you need to address. And I think as testament to the panel here, you have representatives from all the different stakeholders that should not just be at the same table and have a clear message, but also have very clear incentives and drivers behind it. And I think it is visible and clear from other economies that no single component of the building block can drive that further. So you cannot focus solely on education or talent if you don't have the right policy and framework or government backing. You cannot just have technology that sparks innovation, because the risk is that it might die in a sandbox. So I think it's really important to look at this holistically. And I will use some of the analogies from smart cities, as I think it speaks to the importance at national level. And in that case, there's a concept, an academic concept called the quadruple helix. So the 4 building blocks that are important to sustain when addressing such changes, respectively the public sector, the private sector, the academia, and the society. And unless there's an ability for you to cohesively determine what are the governing principles to ensure that the development of AIs are backed by legislations, are supported and in line with the private sector priorities, and continue to be a priority from the academic space to feed and continue, there will always be flaws. And I think as you're thinking about this as being one of the national strategies and anchors for investment, investors are not investing just in potential, but they want to ensure that the soil is fertile from all of these perspectives to continue to sustain. I hope that answered your question. I'm always happy to elaborate on deeper on the topic, but I think these are the core principles that are important to be in place.
Great one. So building on what you have said, I would like to ask Marina, basically, what role do innovation parks, or what is the legislation in Moldova allowing to build a critical mass for AI development? And maybe a second one, how can international investors trust and be attracted to build AI in Moldova?
I think one of the main things that Moldova has already set as a path is that the government has somehow already a priority to include AI, to basically align with the international practices, even the approval of the EU guidelines within Moldovan infrastructure and all the stakeholders being involved is a big step. I think it's more of a need of a better communication between stakeholders, like panels like this, maybe in a different setup more often to happen, to basically align what we have, each entity, and what can we do. For example, the park has a lot of data. We can share the data. We can get some additional data from the residents and understand better what are the needs of the industry in Moldova, and why not replicate that in the dialogue with the universities, with the government, and technically being able to transpose what we have to the next level. I think there is also a need for catalyzation, so basically supporting businesses to invest in AI, because AI, it's not only about implementation of tools, but also about educating our own people, including the tech team. So we have 25,000 people in the tech industry. Everyone is talking about, okay, how many people will lose their jobs and so on. The people who will use AI will not lose their jobs. The ones who will not use it most probably will. And how do we boost the number of people that we have engaged in the tech industry? It's a collaborative effort, both private sector, government, and educational institutions. Fiscal incentives obviously help. If there is more that can be done, I think this is also a way of supporting the companies to invest more in AI, either by subsidizing or by basically exempting some of the expenses from additional specifications. And I think we also need a spillover effect, not only focusing on the tech industry. What about the other industries? They should also be part of this dialogue, because while the tech industry is adjusting hopefully faster than everyone else, we should not leave the other ones behind. Yeah, just
cool.
that.
Thank you. Vitaly, from a business perspective, where do we see the most immediate AI adoption opportunities in Moldova? Like SMEs, fintech, or manufacturing, where do we exceed or excel, actually, where Moldova is good at? Vitaly.
Hello. Hello, everyone. As, like our colleagues, already said, yeah, so that's huge potential, yeah, so almost everywhere, yeah. First of all, we already are seeing the implementing of and starting on building at least the data science teams in the finance industry. Yeah, you know this very well. Yeah, so that's one field that's already up and running. Yeah, the second one could be really telecom. Yeah, just that's because. Possessing a very large database, yeah. So the most large, like a client's databases are telcos, yeah. So usually, yeah, that's so through the worldwide, and here is like a very large potential in order to serve better the customers, yeah. To get, them to take the products they need to serve them. With a really much more like efficient, yeah, less costly, yeah, so with a better UX. Another one, it's a healthcare, and here you have, I would say, here we have quite green field, yeah, so and because we still need as Mr. Bostan said, I mean, we need an infrastructure. And without like a national, like a infrastructure on all levels, yeah, so data foundation is a base, in fact, of AI. Without like a reliable data, but all these elements, like a technical infrastructure, all the things, without this is not possible to get the good AI solutions. Another one, which is really the two fields, as like Mr. Prime Minister here said many times in many conferences, in many speeches, yeah, we have two things, yeah, so that we are proud of. We, two fields, in fact, two domains, yeah, that's IT and wine. Wine production, yeah, precise viticulture is one of the fields really to be really explored, yeah. First of all, taking account as well that the climate change here, we really need to invest here. Yeah, that's at least couple of them, yeah. So I would not say, I mean, other energy production, yeah, energy saving, which is a huge, in fact, the domain that can be applied with, and so those are only a couple of them. And not to forget about the government services, yeah. We all are seeing that we need more people, yeah, so the people, so in Moldova are living, or that AI would, in fact, allow us to be more productive, yeah, and if you are going to invest into it, yeah, so now I think we can be really growing fast our GDP per capita in the nearest years. But I mean, a lot of elements here, a lot of ecosystems, as Andrea said, yes, also just recently. So we have, I would say, at least 10 fields that we can progress quite quickly. But here is another element, education. We really lack skills. But this is, I would say, we'll elaborate this later on.
Okay, let's elaborate. We have a full day tomorrow to elaborate on the skills component with over 1,400 people joining us tomorrow, so we can definitely elaborate. Let's move to the role of associations and different ecosystem players. Not only, we touched upon academia, we touched upon government, we touched upon international perspective. Alex, how do you see the role of the associations to support AI development from two perspectives? One, adoption, and second, probably regulatory and ethics regarding AI in general in a country.
That's a broad one. How much time do I have?
You do. We have 20 more minutes, so you'll get second questions, definitely.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Anna, for the question. And actually, I'd like to build a bit on what was just said through the lens of your question, because where can AI be used from the business standpoint? The question would be rather, where cannot be used, if you ask me. I was having a chat yesterday. I didn't have a chance to be here yesterday because I was on a business trip, but I was having a chat with someone who was here and who was discussing with some of the guys over there in the expo zone and saying how the things they saw there might be used for a bakery, for instance, which is an example. If we look from a global standpoint, then I will not refer to which company has produced that study, but you can actually deduct yourself. But retail, entertainment, media would be the first one to absorb the most impact of AI usage. Then we go to financial services and automotive, for instance, which will be the second. And then healthcare, mentioned by Vitaly. There you have some issues in making it quicker because of the regulatory barriers. So it's a path for everyone. The question is how you are doing it, how you are building it. And here comes the business association angle, because when we look at the AMCHA Moldova as an example, we have 180 members, and in the survey we've done earlier this year, we've asked how many of those companies would adopt AI in principle as technology, and 3/4 would do that. Some of them more intensely, some of them maybe less, but still they are open to embrace that. And we're speaking about a very multi-industry association. It's not focused on tech, as Marina was saying, not just tech. We're talking about production services, financial services. So we are kind of broad openness for adopting, oh, this should be better. Openness for adopting AI for their work. Now, how that can be done, that's another question. And how we can do it in a manner which would allow us to use the ethical frameworks we were discussing at the AI conference as well, to which extent a more enhanced personalization using AI is not going into manipulation, for instance. That's a point we need to look at. Or to which extent enhancing CVs by putting some specific code in them, which would not be human readable, Artem, but machine readable, is that helping the HR function of the enterprise or is not helping the HR? How do we adapt to that? Similarly to what Mr. Bostan was saying about education. To me, the bad thing about using AI by the students is not the usage itself, but that the system can actually give them high grades for that. That's the problem. So we need to see how we can adapt. And the business associations are having this role of getting the business voice together and looking into both elements of that. Both the angle of what's there to be used, and secondly, how we can make sure that we know where to draw that thin line between over-regulation and stopping the innovation, and under-regulation and opening the horror from that standpoint. Yeah, so that's somehow the part of the discussion we are engaged in and we want to be engaged in, because we want our members to get as much as possible of the technology in order to grow, in order to be able to basically contribute both to the economy but their own development. B, develop use cases which might be scalable, replicable, and go broader in the region, non-tech necessarily, but still something which we can think of and grow here. For this, we are getting back to the skills. And if we talk about what Andrea was saying, the quadruple helix, which is one of them, and in my conversations these days, it was, we should get the industry on board, and I was like, what is industry? Well, and I'll not name the names, sorry, but it's mostly tech. But it's not just tech. So we need to have the industry which is consuming the potential AI products, but also is contributing to building the ecosystem in creating that, that power of development for the country. Because if we think about that quadruple helix, where can business associations be part of is both industry collaboration in creating the use cases, right? Co-funding, but also in commercialization of the product. So we can speak about a broad range of engagement and involvement. This is why I see somehow this dialogue being structured a lot with engagement of the business associations. Did I make it in the right time?
Yeah, you did. But you like, I put that phone aside because I had a set of questions, and now I have others. So sorry for that. My question would be, in a global perspective, where we have so many other global leaders in AI. We have US on one hand with trillions of, it's an open question, so whoever wants to answer, but like it just came to me. Trillions of money in general in the tech area. We have China on the other end, like really growing fast. We have EU adopting things and trying to be somewhere in the loop. A country with 1.5 billion turnover of the ICT industry, ICT. Where is our place? Can really Moldova be an AI hub or an AI playground? So this is an open question, just, yeah, if you want, go. I see everybody wants to answer, so you can just do it, you know, like when you click in Zoom, raise hands, so all good.
Maybe I'll just launch just the first thought on it, and colleagues will add on this. I don't think it's about the scale of the country. It's about the focus on what you are doing and what you can contribute to it. What's your niche? in developing something which would be actually positioning you somewhere on the global scale. We are not able to be comparable to the countries you are talking about, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. But if we take examples where these elements of AI usage and getting together in a hub-type approach are happening, it's all over the place. Romania, the AI hub, which was recently created by the academia with support of the EU, so the funding is there. Then Insight in Bulgaria, again, another example of that. And the focus which is happening there, the products which are happening there, if you look at the Insight in Bulgaria, they have 2, 3, 4 applications like BG-GPT, for instance, used by the fiscal services. So they're trying to develop their own products which at some point might be scalable. Now, I'll give you an example you know about this, and I guess a lot of other people know, the Empower AI initiative powered by UNFPA, right? It's an example on which you can think about something which would be complementing the social media platform in monitoring and fighting with the gender-based violence in the digital space. Use it here as a use case, build on it, and then use it in other countries, right? So we need to think where we can make the difference. And what Artyom was saying, using our potential of data and access to this might be giving us this opportunity that the scale will become not an issue, but a perk, right? In which we can actually build on cases which then can be replicable to much larger territories without necessarily having the need for investments. And by the way, how should I put it diplomatically? What's happening on the global level between different actors, geopolitically speaking, is helping us because it's giving us access to some technologies we might not have access before because of their cost, which we do have today. And that's my answer on it.
I see Artyom wants to answer or reply, or Andrea. I don't know.
Well, thank you. I think size might not speak to skill, but it might speak to agility. So I think the fact that having a smaller market allows you to implement a lot of systems that can be replicated. And I think if you change a bit, I think AI presents the opportunity to rethink the rules of the game, and you will not be able to outfund the Silicon Valley or Western European countries, but you have an opportunity to outthink and do things slightly different. And I think this is where is an opportunity to have that system thinking that allows you to demo or demonstrate the building blocks more effectively than others. Estonia is a great case of that. They did not try to replicate different government models, but they leapfrog by putting the system at the center, not the technology. So I feel like this is a greater opportunity for countries that are in developing than for developed countries where systems are a bit more rigid and limiting in that regards. So,
thanks, Artyom.
Well, I basically want to elaborate on, a little bit on what Alexandru said and give an example from my previous pre-government life related to real industries AI application. So one of the key points related to the ethics, and what Mr. Bastan said. So it's about preparing people to understand what AI is. It basically can be a tool to cheat the system, or it can be a personal mentor, additional teacher that would guide me, and basically to use it from that perspective of ethics, of me having this opportunity to learn better. And since we are talking about the application, I can give you an example that right now one of good friends of mine applying AI models to the maintenance of very, very expensive equipment. And the very interesting thing is that the humidity of the facility where that equipment has been there was the basic predictor of that equipment to be broken. And this is a unique fingerprint for that particular case, in that particular industry, in that particular plant. And that is probably the key point, is about applying it and having your fantasy, using your fantasy to understand where that thing can be applied, because the specificity of all those data points that are collected is basically a unique chance to learn something and to get edge. And I'm not talking about new products, even like the old products could be reduced within the cost. So this is the moment about not shying away from that technology, not trying to say, oh, it's just another bubble. No, it's not a bubble. It's just a pragmatic understanding of how the things will work further. So basically, this might be my takeaway here.
I just wanted to say that we have a specific case where we could be leaders in the world, and I think that's in the wine industry. We have the biggest number of grapes plantation per capita in the world. So this is an area where we could test more technologies, but also have more data to play with about the wine industry and how to implement it in the next phase. Who would be next? Would be France, maybe US, maybe, I don't know, New Zealand, but it's a different framework, it's a different type of soil. So I really think Moldova has a good case for the wine industry and integration of AI.
So last but not least, 2030, that wonderful year. Where will Moldova be, in your opinion? 2030. 2030. In 2030.
Yeah, just, I mean, like, the sound is not coming very well on this side. Where, I mean, that's, I would say, let's have a, you see, dream a bit, yeah? Moldova can be like a AI sandbox country, yeah? Like you see, what is one of the, like, in fact, big advantages of Moldova? That's Moldova is small. You can get the connection between business, between public, so administration, yes, the government, yeah, and academics quite quickly, yeah. Just, I mean, an example, yeah, to reach like audience to the Prime Minister somewhere in Europe, France, perhaps a big country, even in Poland or Romania, yeah. So that's could take half a year, even a year. Here in Moldova, it can take 1 day at the end of the day, yeah? Just, I mean, and that's the speed and agility, yeah? In order to build, like, because AI is, in fact, would be an embedded, I would say, solutions, and AI will embed in almost in all the areas. Here I see, in fact, first of all, but here I see Moldova can be like a upskill academic, yeah, so that like a country, yeah, so here, because from my point of view, we can easily, yeah, investing into education, yeah, because I don't know, yeah, might be a question, yeah, so how many companies in Moldova perhaps have now an data science department, yeah?
As the companies.
We can grow up and we can, in fact, provide like a integrated and communication like between different areas in different domains, and that's Moldova could achieve on 2020 as the digitalized, I would say AI'd country. I would dream for 2030. For me personally, to have like a Vitaly Tataru's AI agent, yeah, that will pay taxes, yeah, that will make requests, and by the way, if the guy my digital alter ego won't pay taxes, yeah, let's punish him, yeah. So just I would like to have such things, but just seriously, yeah, we can in fact have like a most because of the size of the country and agility. We need to be agile. Yeah, from this point, yeah, and the speed, the size of the country could speed us up here. Yeah, we can be like a example and to export quite a lot of services, yeah, and solutions, yeah, and to scale them up.
Nicoleta or Alex?
And just to add on to that, 2030, I was harassing almost everyone on this stage in personal chats with something that I read recently, a statement that our neighbors have said, that by 2030, Ukraine wants to be the third most advanced AI state and using AI capabilities. And not in the region. I think their idea is to be the third like globally, right? And they're already showing signs of resilience and how they band together in incredible difficult times of conflict and so on. On our side, and what I'm trying to get to is that we also need to decide, like on a bold statement, like, okay, this is where we want to go. We want to have it integrated everywhere. Fine, go. Have the synergy between the players. I agree with Mr. Tataru that we are very well positioned to be a sandbox. We are already, and used to be a sandbox in terms of testing new internet and replicating it on a global scale in telco. This has been our, not to say purpose, but this has been our role up until this point. Why shouldn't it be any longer? And on the more pop side, Sam Altman had recently a discussion as well, and there was this good idea in terms of that he shared. The technology is already there, the models are there, it's really easy to replicate. You don't need to build it all from scratch already. The principles, everything is out there generally. The future is of agentic AI, the future is on implementing and figuring out the use cases and going there. So I would say that let's define the use cases and start
building.
Preferably not breaking things, but moving a little bit faster.
Alex, if you want to conclude, because we have a red sign, you have 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Otherwise, I conclude. I'm looking at my... you are disconnected. Okay, so let's conclude. It seems that Moldova is advancing in having AI integrated everywhere, in businesses, in government, in academia. There are clear steps that are being taken by each stakeholder, and to reach a common, more futuristic vision of an AI Moldova, or Moldova AI in 2030, it just takes a bit of collaboration, creativity, and collaboration internationally, because we can't sit aside and we can't sit and think that we can do everything from scratch. It's better to reuse. It's like in that wonderful quote with the masterpieces and the artists. Good artists do everything themselves. Excellent artists copy, and the best ones just steal. So let's not steal. Let's make sure that we make use of the best technologies and make sure that every single piece is there. Regulation, academia, private sector, and of course I hope we have sufficient citizens. Otherwise we'll have to just enroll digital citizens in Moldova, and hope the future is really bright. Thank you for this panel. Looking forward to tomorrow's session with many of you as well. And thank you everybody for coming and joining Moldova ICT Summit or Moldova Digital Summit. Let's take a group picture. That's what I asked Olga. And then we are free and you are free.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you to our esteemed panelists.